It is the Cheap Seats with your boy Black Gritty hosting. E-Rock has family things to do. He's probably out making sure that his kid gets the ball, doing his job as a father, taking care of family business. So you're stuck with me and Ashworth today. But that's okay. Because just like the Tush push, we're going to push through this episode without E-Rock, and no one is going to stop us from doing it. Now, the Chiefs got their three-peat. Patrick Mahomes has now lost 3 games in a row. He's lost the last 3 games to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. There's your three-peat. If you're talking about the Tush push, and you're Adam Schefter, and you're anybody that's complaining about something that's already been voted on and ruled on, you are wasting time. You can push a new agenda and say that the false starting is a problem, the officiating is a problem. But when you don't mention that the other team is in the neutral zone, they're offsides, it's disingenuous, and nobody cares. Stop complaining about it and stop it. I watched the Vikings try to run it. I watched the Bills try to run it. I watched many teams try to run it. And they might be successful 10% of the time. We're successful 90% of the time. Nobody cares. Cry harder. It's here for the year. I hate talking about this topic because when it's legal, it's legal. Next week, are they going to officiate it differently? I think they might get a couple flags on us, but it's still not going to be able to stop the play. And we've got bigger fish to fry. Ashworth, do you care about the Tush push? How much tushing are you doing?
How much am I doing?
I don't know. Apparently, everybody in Philadelphia, that's all we do. We just out here in the streets pushing tushes. It's like the only thing that we had to talk about in the national media on a Monday.
Yeah, man. Hello, by the way. Good to see you. I'm glad you started the show that way, only because it really is just what everybody wants to talk about. It really, like, you watch all these programs and they're leading off the show with what an abomination the Tush push is. And for me, like, what the abomination is, it's not the Tush push. The abomination is that you are ignoring 60 minutes of football to focus on one play. The abomination is that you're ignoring the fact in the Kansas City game specifically that they made the decision to go for it on 4th down in their own territory and came up short. They missed a field goal in the first half that took 3 points off the board. They missed a deep opportunity to put 6 points on the board. Stonehands Kelsey wound up turning the ball over, which flipped the field position and the scoreboard, right? They lost the football game, and they want to boil it down to one play, one false start, one Tush push. To me, that's the abomination in the whole thing. Like, you guys are literally ignoring 60 minutes of football to focus on one play. And now, and the most interesting part too now, Gritty, they're not focusing on what people bitched and moaned about last year. Because last year it was always about, are you allowed to push your teammates forward? Is there an injury risk inherent in this play? Which obviously the data says currently no. Now they're changing the narrative to, well, that's a false start. They get away with it every single time. Where? Was it a false start against Kansas City? I'll give you that. It was. And I understand guys want to play, like, if you're going to have the play officiated correctly, I get that. But if you want it officiated correctly, to your point, well, then they're offsetting penalties because everybody's lined up in the neutral zone on the Chiefs too. So this idea that we have to now reinvent something else to bitch about because yet again the Philadelphia Eagles found a way to beat your favorite football team, I'm over it. And I get Dean Blandino, right? I'm over the play. I'm over you. I'm over everybody who wants to bitch and moan about the Tush push. It's a play. To Gritty's point, you don't like it? Stop it. Until then, shut up.
So you almost went 100% on your test. You got a 90. They also kicked the onside kick because Andy Reid was aggressive and desperate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything else you nailed on, like, they went for it on fourth down when they shouldn't have in their own territory. You're on your own 36. You over and over and over again did things out of character because you felt like you had to get your team going. And when they have penalties and you call a ticky-tack, you can't touch Patrick Mahomes, you give him 4 deep balls in a row, finally he connects on one. We're going to talk about the yardage. And we're not going to spend much time on this because I want to get off of the Chiefs because we beat them and that's all that matters. But Patrick Mahomes, up until that last bomb, after he missed 4 passes in a row, only had 120 yards. So obviously on the radio and the national media, the local media is Jalen Hurts only had 100 yards. Chris Jones told him at the end of the game, we shut y'all down, you only had 100 yards. And again, the same thing I say about why I love Jalen Hurts is because he's built for this city. He told him to shut the bleep up. We won the game. And when people say that's all he cares about, that's all he cares about. He comes out and passes for 300 yards. He says, is that what y'all want to see? He goes down to the Super Bowl. Best passer in both Super Bowls over Patrick Mahomes. He does what's necessary. And sometimes not turning the ball over and making mistakes is what's necessary. The defense is young. The defense is fast. Let's talk about the defense real quick. So, I'm not going to say her name, so I'm going to phrase it in a way that doesn't make me also sound sexist. A female made a post during the first game about Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a bust.
I know it. I know where you're going.
And man alive. Now, I only saw the open comments of, go back in the kitchen, make a sandwich. There's a lot of that. But there was also a lot of regular criticism like, are you even watching the game? Do you know football? Like, what are you talking about? Then she said people were DMing her vile things. That's not acceptable. But my point to that of saying is like, Jordan Davis is like the MVP of the defense right now. Deflecting balls, giving up his body, breaking down plays, like playing more snaps than he's ever played. He's looked phenomenal. And for that one tweet to go so viral, it's like, man, he's finally doing a whole bunch of stuff. He's got the most tackles on the team, and now you want to pick on him? I mean,
probably just a pretty untimely tweet.
Yeah.
Right? Because have there been games in Jordan Davis's career where you said, like, all right, dude, like we've all said it.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's coming in, picked up his 5th-year option. It's a money year. Come into camp in shape and dominate week 1, be impactful week 2. It's just probably not the time to bag on Jordan Davis. Legit Eagles fan. No one's going to say she's not.
No.
Just an untimely criticism of probably one of your better defenders, if not the best defender on that team through 2 weeks. Now, there's 15 games to go, but in terms of, and I mean, just in the litany of busts that we've seen in the first, out of first round picks, he's not even in the threshold. He may not have lived up to his billing in terms of what we had hoped for and expected. But when you talk about like first round busts, I don't even know how he's in the conversation. Jordan Davis has been, just in terms of that defense, what they were able to do week 1, what they were able to do against Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Davis has been a huge part of that. Now you get him stacked up with Jalen Carter. We'd like to see a little more pressure on the outside, although Uche has been the NFL's highest graded defender through 2 weeks. So, and that all starts on the inside. Right? Jordan Davis coming alive.
Zach Bond's still doing his job.
Yeah, no doubt.
He cleans up everybody's dirty work. You miss a tackle, he's making a tackle. Vic called out Carter.
Yeah.
Said he was out of shape. When I rewatched the game, because I was annoyed that he said that, because one, when he speaks, he's usually telling the truth. Mm-hmm. So when I rewatched the game, I just rewatched all the defensive plays, and I'm like, oh, there were times where he would initially push and then allow the gag off. Now, I don't know if that's like a design to make sure he's not running, to keep lane integrity. But there was a couple times where he's just jogging around. And I'm like, okay, you're kind of out of shape. It's late in the game. Yeah. And now you're kind of like hoofing it a little bit to get by. Adoree Jackson, you're on the internet. Mm-hmm. This man can't walk in the street without his mask on. Like, everybody jumps on him. And reasonably so. But how many touchdowns has he given up?
I was going to say, I don't think he had that bad of a game.
Even last week, CeeDee Lamb, who got a touchdown on him? Nobody. And the touchdown that was given up late with Quinyon was a crossing route mix-up error that could have happened to anybody. Mm-hmm. And Quinyon was there and chopping at his arm, and he was a great catch. Again, you get Patrick Mahomes 9 times in the deep ball. One of them's going to go. But the tackle Dory Jackson, like at this point, the Makuba's doing well. The team is playing well around them. You're not going to stop anybody. Patrick Mahomes is out to 180 yards passing. Like, what? Why is everybody like, he's got to go. We got to send him out on the next ship. I'm like, Vic's got him out there. There's a reason he's out there over whoever else is available.
Well, yeah, the reason is because there isn't a better option right now, because we know that, right? Vic's going to play the best man for the job. And if he's saying that's a Dory Jackson, that's a Dory Jackson. Now, that doesn't mean I have to like a Dory Jackson, because I've been vocal about I think the team needs to upgrade CB2. That doesn't mean just because he hasn't let up a touchdown that they didn't eat against him week 1, because they did. And that doesn't mean that he didn't miss tackles or miss assignments in week 2, because he did. He didn't play that bad. And you're 100% right. When you have Makuba playing the way he's playing, and you still have, Campbell and Bond in front of him, or at least in the middle, I'll say, and you're getting pressure, you're able to hide certain things. You talked about that beforehand, right? That once you get into the regular season, that Vic will scheme it up and he'll build it in a way that where you can kind of hide some of your weaknesses. My fear is, or my concern is, okay, that's going to work when you're going against the Chiefs who don't have their top 2 wide receivers. When you're coming in and you got a Rams team coming to the link where you got Stafford and you got Puka Nacua and you got Devontae Adams, and like you have some weapons now that can expose that, that's where I'm going to start to pay attention. Because remember, it's early, right? Everyone's trying to figure themselves out, but once they find the rhythm and they get steam and teams are operating on all cylinders, like we're gonna get a taste of that here in week 3 against the Rams. They have a really nice offense. I think they're going to test the Dory Jackson. Maybe next week we're sitting here with a different flavor. But that's what I'm staring at.
Anything else you want to say about the Chiefs game?
I'm going to say, about the Chiefs, and we'll get off the tush push thing, but part of why I don't like these narratives and part of why I don't like these conversations is no bones about, like, Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. You don't debate that, right?
No.
Great quarterback. But when you have situations like this and the media going out on their own to forcefully and calculate in a calculated measure attack a single play, it makes me dislike things that I shouldn't dislike. For example, when Jahad Campbell had the ticky-tack foul on Patrick Mahomes, because that was ticky-tack.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody has a problem with that play? But Dean Blandino, you're not tired of officiating and analyzing that rule? Because that happens every single game to every quarterback not named Jalen Hurts, and where people are up in arms about it, and it affects a game week in and week out. You don't want to say a word about that. So what that makes me as a fan of the sport, a fan of the game, do is start to dislike guys like Patrick Mahomes or guys that would get those calls routinely. And then that people want to bitch and moan, and they want to say, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes couldn't beat the Eagles when you're giving him false starts because he didn't have his top 2 wide receivers. Then it forces me to sit back and say, well, Tom Brady didn't need these explosive wide receivers to be the greatest quarterback of all time. So clearly, I start getting in these debates and I start diminishing guys who I know are great, because it forces me to then, oh, you want to take shots about irrational things? I'll take shots about irrational things. So I just don't like the conversation, Grady. All I mean to say is I don't like it because it starts bringing all these other extracurricular conversations into play that have no merit. Yeah. They have absolutely no merit.
Well, nobody will have those conversations because it is the thing of being on top. And the Chiefs have benefited from more late game penalties and heroics of Patrick Mahomes than anybody else. I don't argue that he is the greatest quarterback of this generation. He has potential to be the greatest quarterback of all time, which I'd actually prefer because I don't like Tom Brady. But it is something to be said when you're playing the game and you cry about the things unless it has to do with them.
Yep.
So, and normally it's fans that do it, but when the media was on it the way that they were, it was just like, come on, guys. We've already had this discussion over and over and over again. And again, it's here. Jordan Mailata doesn't want to hear it, and it was disrespectful to be phrased as a way as that's why you won or lost the game. The game didn't come down with 1 second left, and a tush push got you to win.
From former athletes too. Like, this isn't just the Adam Schefters of the world and the Mike Greenbergs of the world. It's former athletes that are now put in these chairs in these positions to become puppets, where that's what tips me off. Because if I'm a former player and I've been in those locker rooms, more than not, my message is, hey, one play does not determine the game. There's 60 minutes of football. At the end of the day, the result is the goal is the W. But you even got these former players coming out talking about, oh, this rule, that, no, they can't get away. Oh, and every single play. What are you talking about?
So all those players are former non-Eagles players.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you get like ex-Cowboys or all the Cowboys don't like it. Like I've noticed that too. There's a lot of people that are in the division, in the conference, in the NFC that talk like that, and the ones that don't aren't. Like you get a Chad Ochocinco, he's in the AFC. His roots are in the AFC. He doesn't care about seeing us through the jobs here, so he doesn't care about it. He's like, look, it's a football play, stop it. You know, you watch John Gruden, who, you know, for nothing else, he knows his X's and O's, and he's like, stop the play. There's nothing from stopping you to do it. You just don't practice it. You half-ass practice it. When you go out, you get half-ass results. Now you want to complain. It's amazing how many people voted against it, but they still try to do it. So that's neither here nor there. The Chiefs lost. They're losers, and life feels good. They're 0-2, and they're going to go beat up on the Giants, and everybody's going to be glazing them again.
Yep.
You want to do our picks?
You want to do them now?
Yeah.
You want to do risky bets now?
Yeah. Let's risky bets. We're gonna finalize this name. We're gonna get our risky frisky bets on. And Andrew.
Yo, what's up?
Think of a team that you want to win and put a bet on this week. I'm putting you on the hot stand for being frisky earlier before the show.
All right.
Ashworth.
Yeah.
I lost this our parlay last week because I took the Saints +3.
Yeah, but
they lost by 5?
Did E-Rock win it? Didn't he take the Commanders?
Oh yeah, he lost too.
Yeah, you both lost.
Oh, there you go. You won.
Risky bets, but Ashworth still had you.
Right.
I'm just letting you, and I'm telling you it's a risky bet if you're listening to me, but I did have you last week.
So I was close, but I was, so upset at that game.
That's all right.
So this week, since I don't like losing, I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Panthers, and I'm taking the points because they're going to destroy them.
You're taking the points?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm looking at this game. What am I missing? Because I feel like I'm missing here. First of all, it's going to be a dirty word coming out of my mouth. Cowboys are traveling to Chicago. They're only they're a 1.5 favorite. What has anybody seen out of Chicago? Now I get it. The Giants just played Dallas tough. Division game on the road. No, that was at home. Sorry. Division game though. I haven't seen anything from Chicago to make me think that they're going to be able to hang with the offense from Dallas. So if I'm betting, and I don't like betting on the Cowboys, but Cowboys -1.5, yeah, I'm riding that all day.
So the only thing you're missing is the fact that Caleb Williams
stinks.
He can't follow instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Their first 2 drives that are scripted on both games, they walk right down the field on somebody.
Absolutely.
When the game adjusts and plays are being called in, and he hasn't repped those plays, then he starts doing Caleb Williams things, and he thinks he's Brett Favre, like when he retired, and he starts running around scrambling, throwing balls around. So in the first quarter, like even if you wanted to live bet that, I'd be like, I guarantee you the Bears are going to be either tied or up in the first quarter.
Sure.
After that, they fall apart. And their defense, to be fair, McCarthy sucks. He couldn't do anything. In the third quarter, their third cornerback goes down, so then they had to put in their 4th and 5th cornerback. And all the fourth quarter, he had 102 QBR. The other 7 quarters he's played, he's been like 30% complete. Like, he sucks. But that's what happens when you get to go against backups. So the Cowboys taking care of the Bears. That's a good pick. Andrew, we've given you enough time.
Oh, man. Broncos are beating the Chargers.
Broncos are beating the Chargers. You on crack cocaine.
I'm on crack cocaine.
Oh, God.
Was that 3.5?
I actually don't know what
I think they're plus. I think Broncos are plus 3.5 there. That was one of the ones I was looking at, but I was going to take the Chargers.
Okay.
Because I like to ride when teams are balling early in the season. I let them ride that wave.
Your team khaki.
Team who?
Team khaki.
Team khaki. Hardball.
Yeah.
Team khaki. I'll ride Team khaki. I was actually looking to go on the Chargers, but I just felt like the Dallas one was too easy.
All right, so we got the Cowboys, the Falcons, and you're going to make us lose.
The Broncos.
Denver.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm going to make us win. This is the anchor right here.
All right, there you go.
Who did the Broncos just lose to? The Colts?
They just lost to the Colts.
Colts.
I mean, they got pickpocketed, but again, the Colts haven't punted once this year yet.
I know.
No.
I think 10 for 10. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So
10 for 10 on possessions.
They have not punted, so that was a pretty good thing going. So those are our 3 picks. We're taking the points with all of them: the Broncos, the Cowboys, and the Falcons.
Risky bets.
Risky
Right,
bets.
these are risky bets.
Super risky.
Yeah.
The Cowboys-Giants game real quick.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. If you just like football,
Yeah.
you just like football, that was phenomenal. It felt like the Thursday night game with Jameis Winston in the snow. They were both just slinging it around and going back and forth. All these kickers are on Blue Chew or something because they've been kicking the balls deep. We didn't talk about that. Elliott, Mr. Tripod himself, is back, nailing long kicks with confidence, right down the middle, having an extra 5 or 6 yards at the back of the net. The kicker in Dallas in that dome could hit from 75 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was crazy. Russ looked like old Russ. Everybody was going to bench and put Dart in.
He threw for like 450 something, right?
He was throwing bombs over Baghdad.
Yeah.
I mean, Neighbors was the one pass he caught to like get it to overtime, or whatever. The end, they were again talk about not throwing flags. 2 guys are holding him down, hand on his head, ripping his head back, and you don't throw a flag just because he caught the touchdown. Throw the flag anyway. I wanted to get the 1 yard line, possibly go for 2.
Yeah.
And have that option. But again, it's still the preseason, the first 4 games. The refs are figuring it out just like the players are. But man, that game was amazing. I was like, get this junk off my TV because I want to watch my game now.
But you're right. It was just one of those, are you a football fan?
Yeah.
Because it was one of those fun games. I mean, I dialed in, right? I tuned in. I was watching it. Dallas scores, and I said, well, that's that, right? I saw Russ take a deep shot. You don't need that, Russ. You don't need. Then he took a deep shot again. Boom, gets 6 in the end zone. I'm thinking it's a curtain call. Here comes Dallas right back down the field. And the way they played that too, like they knew Aubrey was good from 70.
Yeah.
Like they knew it. They just, you know what? Nah, let's just let the clock run. We don't need some extra yards. My guy's good from 70 virtually. And true to form, just like a little chip shot, just put that right through with ease, didn't he?
Yep. And now
It was a fun game.
And everybody's back on Dallas, and Dak is back, and all that kind of stuff. Good luck with that.
It's early season.
Oh,
This is rinse and repeat for Dallas.
It's how it goes for them.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about. Show's gonna go quick today because it's just you and me yapping. But before we talk about the Rams and what the Eagles got to do, the Philadelphia Phillies are champion back-to-back of the NL East. The Phillies.
Have you stayed up for?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
They're tough. They're tough for me to stay up.
And I got tweets to prove it too.
Yeah, they're
They're
tough.
like, I bet everybody sleep. I'm like, not me, bitch. I was
Right.
up. I saw y'all. You know what I mean? I'm getting my memes in late at night. It was last night's game. Shohei Ohtani, talk about just loving the sport for the sport. I hate what the Dodgers do. I hate what they stand for. I hate the fact they can manipulate caps the same way people hate about Howie and how he's manipulated the cap. They've gotten around certain things, but man, watching a 7'35" Monstar pitch a no-hitter for 5 innings and knowing he's going up there to swing the bat, like, that shit means something to me. I told you the same way, like, I love Schwarber. I don't have the same love for Schwarber as I do for Howard. One, we talked about this the other time. The numbers in general as whole aren't the same. The home run numbers are the same, but not the percentage hitting. But again, I also don't get to see Schwarber out there. Even if he was just playing first base, just to see him out there snag a ball, stretch for one, you know what I mean? Chest bump the guys. Like, he just goes into the cave like a bear, and it doesn't feel the same. But man, the team looks great. I'll admit I was also wrong about something. I wanted seasoning. Everyone knows that I wanted flavor. I wanted some pepper on the team. I want some jazz music in the club. And apparently, you know what I mean, a little Celtic sea salt with Bader and a little adobo with Haran Duran has got me going.
Same.
Good enough. So I guess it's good enough because they've been playing better, actually, sadly, since Wheeler went down. I think Wheeler went down, galvanized the team. What do you think about the Phils right now?
I mean, what are they, 30 games over 500? I think they are. I think they've won the second most series. I think it's like 33 in franchise history. 2.5
games out of first place.
1.5. No?
Tiebreaker.
Is that right?
Yes,
2.5. So when I look at them, I mean, yeah, first and foremost, I was wrong. Right? Well, I think I was wrong. And I had complained all year about this team because it's a wave of emotions, right? And we have these expectations, but when push comes to shove, they don't live up to the moment. And so we're not going to know until we get into October. I tell everyone to be patient. But when that trade deadline came and went, I looked at Duran and said, okay, that's a move for 2026. You know, when they get Alvarado back, they clean up that pen. and I looked at Harrison Bader and I said, like, okay, like he's a guy that's got some energy. No, that guy has solidified the outfield, not only defensively, but become an absolute spark plug for the entire team. So I look at that. I mean, because it's no coincidence. Look at what that outfield has done since he's come on board. I mean, Marsh is raking and Kepler's hitting and Bader's been a plug. And we're doing a lot of this without Harper even playing up to our expectation for Bryce Harper.
Yeah. And Harper did what he was supposed to do last night and the night before.
Sure.
In a
Big
big
double.
spot.
Big
in
double.
a big spot.
Right.
When the pressure was on and they needed it,
and a guy
he did
like,
what he does.
Look, and now obviously last night he got tagged up a little bit, but even a 40-year-old David Robertson coming in and being just a key cog in that bullpen. I love where they're at. Not necessarily all year we were talking about, but don't worry, they're starting pitching. We'll get them through. Last night, Sanchez gave up 4, and again, they were shut out through 5 innings.
Yeah.
Right? Again. 7th inning or later, this is a different team. I'm not willing to say, Gritty, that I was completely wrong about this team because that's TBD, right? But there are people who say, and I agree, something feels different. Something and I think a lot of that's from the energy that Harrison Bader brings, the attitude and the piss and the vinegar that Harrison Bader brings to a clubhouse. Something just feels a little different about the team, a little more confident about the team. They're not relying on a long ball, manufacturing runs, moving runners, just playing how they need to play to, what do we say, get the W. They're finding ways to win ball games. For me, that's how you win in October. So it's fun to see. I'm definitely enjoying the team, even if I can't stay up on West Coast games.
Well, I said all this year they're winning the World Series, and I said last year, in the beginning of the season, that they weren't going to win the World Series. They're going to win it for 2026, which is this year. Because Bryce had just come off an injury going into postseason, and he was working his way back, and it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And this is the last year that this team is going to be currently constructed the way that they are.
Yeah.
They got a lot of big decisions. Obviously, you're trying to keep Schwarber, and that's if somebody doesn't come up with this crazy, outlandish number to give him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're out here putting, he's going to get $30 million. Like, I don't know, dude. He puts up 60 home runs. It's going to be a frenzy for teams that just want him, and we never know what's going to happen with that. So, you know, Bryce wanting money, JT's getting older. If he resigns, like, the construction of the heart of the unit of the team that's been on this run is going to start changing after this year. So they need to win the World Series this year, and it actually feels like, because like I said, I was saying it all year long, even when we lost, and I cried, say, we're still winning the World Series. And Johnny Marks be like, just say it. I'm like, you're winning the World Series. And I'm like, because I believed in the beginning of the year, and it's a long season. And now they're playing where it's like, man, don't leave the ballpark.
Yeah.
Don't turn the game off.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it for Shohei, and I was like, again, that's what I mean about when somebody's bigger than the sport, when something's so good. I wasn't even mad that my team was getting no hit.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching him, and like, that's old school baseball. Like I said, like,
that's the first time we've seen him, too.
Yeah. I mean, and he was out there dealing. And there's something to the intimidation factor, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be in your head.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is Ohtani. This is Ohtani. Like,
100%. At the end of the day, these dudes are still human, right? And when you look at certain guys, and they hadn't faced him before, and you just hear and you see, and it's like, well, okay, now we're going to go see the show. But no pun intended. Yeah. Like, Shohei Ohtani, to me, and this is why I always say what I say, that guy is the guy that you can say, well, that's a generational talent. Right? I think when we say generational talent, whatever the sport we're talking about, I think it's very overused and it waters down what a generational talent or elite player looks like. That guy's generational. That guy is box office. You turn into your point to watch that guy play baseball. Only player in Major League history to have 50 strikeouts and 50 home runs in the season. That guy is box office. So got the dub. And to your point earlier, you never tune out on this team. That's another thing I think is different about the Phillies in past years and past games and past series. We look at them and say, oh, it's going to be one of those games. Yeah. This is not the same ball club.
So shout out to the Phils drinking their champagne and hangover game and still coming out and getting a George W. It was impressive in the middle of the night, and I enjoyed watching it. This week, the Eagles are going up against the Rams. The Rams are finally coming here. We've been out to L.A., other than the playoff game last week. We went out to L.A. like 5 or 6 times. So we hadn't had a regular season home game. The good thing I'll tell you about the offense is that Remember last year when we started 8 games without scoring in the first quarter?
Mm-hmm.
Both games we scored in the first quarter on opening drives. No one's bringing that up because that's positive, so nobody wants to say it. I listen to the radio all day. I watch all the shows. I even watch all the podcasts. No one says, hey, remember when the team couldn't score in the first quarter with Kellen Moore? Well, now at least I know this guy can script the first 15. After that, I think he gets stuck in video game mode with Patullo, and they have to be better on offense this week. So let's start with that. Who do you think is more responsible for this offense and the issues? Patullo, the quarterback, the dog, or Andrew?
It's a very popular topic right now, right? It's also a very polarizing topic right now because the reality is the only two constants are Jalen and your head coach, right? Those are the two constants.
Yep.
We've seen what this offense looks like with Shane Steichen. We've seen what this offense looks like with Brian Johnson. We've seen what this offense looks like with Kellen Moore. We see what this offense looks like with Kevin Patullo. Again, the only constant is your quarterback and your head coach. I know that there are there limitations to Jalen's game, comparatively speaking, to some quarterbacks? Sure, right? But there's certain things that Jalen does that other quarterbacks can't do, or whether that's mindset, intangible, whatever you want to call it. Do I think that they have to build an offense around his strength? Yes. Okay, of course. But I do believe that when we've seen these two wide receivers or these skill positions play at a certain level with that head coach, with that quarterback, when we've seen it, whether that be in a Super Bowl or over a period of time. I mean, at one point, they both had 1,000-yard seasons together.
Mm-hmm.
So we know it's possible. However, not that I want to blame Patullo solely. I just don't like a lot of the concepts and design. I think it's bland, vanilla. Maybe it is the preseason, like you're saying, and they are still trying to figure out that identity, that rhythm, how they want to attack, because it is still early. And how many years in a row are we going to bitch 4 weeks into the season about this offense looks X, Y, Z? So I don't want to shed blame. I really don't. But I do believe they need to get something figured out, like quick, like week 3. Let's go.
Andrew, is it Patullo or is it Hurts?
Is it Patullo or is it Hurts? I think it's a combination of the two. I think they're trying to figure out a new offense. Patullo is putting his flavor into it. Hurts is trying to figure it out. I will say this. A lot of people are going back and saying, oh, it's Brian Johnson 2.0. 2023 is going to happen again, the collapse. There is one variable that's very different from then that it is now, this defense. Mm-hmm. You did not have a defense like you do this year back then.
Yeah.
And so if something does happen where the offense can't get it to click, you're going to have that defense to rely on and keep you in those games.
Valid.
So in the interest of telling you both that you're wrong, because I like doing things like that, it's 100% Patullo. And I say that because I love listening to certain people on the radio. I'm not going to say their names because I don't like them at all. But they say, well, you can't give Jalen credit for calling audibles and getting out of certain plays and making adjustments, and then him not make audibles and adjustments now, well, he's not getting the credit for it. Well, when you're an offensive coordinator, you do two things. You call the play. You also give the quarterback an alternate play off of that play. Now, Patullo, he's young. I don't know if he's given good alternative routes to be called, because all the routes for A.J. Brown, as the comments are saying in the chat, are all the same. The chart tree is slant or go. Yep. Slant, go. Slant, go. This is what happened with Johnson. I don't live watch games because I be cussing and freaking out. But like I said, I could call the plays. And for a quarter, I just looked at my TV and said, run, pass, run. I was 95% correct. And that's how I feel right now. So out of the last game, 11 plays from pistol, 10 were runs, there was 1 pass. 14 plays under center, 14 runs, 0 passes. 33 plays from shotgun, 7 runs, 26 passes. Now, again, if my fat, lazy, balding, gap-toothed self is sitting at home 3,000 miles away and I know what's about to happen, I think Spagnuolo knows what's about to happen. I think that Chris Jones knows, and that's why I'm putting on the offensive coordinator because Saquon's not getting off either.
Yeah.
Saquon's not going anywhere. Now, you can't tell me that the offensive line lost 50 pounds each and they don't know how to move and now they don't know how to adjust because nothing is working other than the first scripted plays, which, again, you get to rep those over and over again. They are bigger. They bully their way down the field. But after that, there's no kind of adjustment. There's no kind of move. And Jalen is doing the thing where don't turn the ball over. And maybe he's holding it too long. Maybe he's holding it too much. But at the same time, he's like, Elliott Shore-Parks, he missed 3 passes. Okay. I watched Patrick Mahomes miss 4 passes in a row. But no one says that about Patrick Mahomes missing passes. Nobody says that about Matthew Stafford missing 4 passes. It's only when Jalen, who only passes the ball 20 times, misses 2. It's like, how did you not see A.J. Brown open? Mind you, he was only open for 5 yards. It's not like it was a deep route that he missed or something like that. So I'm putting all this on the coordinator because I've seen Jalen rise and fall, and I've seen him at his worst when video game calls were being played like this. This is a calling from Johnson when he was like that, and when Nick Sirianni was the coach, where he forgot that Goddard was on the team. When he forgot that AJ was on the team. So I'm putting this on the coordinator and not my quarterback. I'm going to defend him for 1 more week. That's all I got. All I got is 1 more week.
No, you just said the name. It's when Goddard's not in this lineup, it affects everything that they do. When they ran double tight ends, they ran it every single time at a double tight end formation because they have to.
Yes.
Right? And as great as Calcaterra and Granson can be in the pass game, which great, I'm obviously using that with some hyperbole. They're very limited in the run blocking game, right? They just are. So it kind of highlights how important Goddard is to the offense. Now, I'll also say, to kind of give you some credence on the Patullo idea, earlier, I believe it was today, it might have been yesterday, they had asked Jordan Mailata about, hey, like, who needs to be better? What are you seeing from an offensive output perspective? Because last year he was big in terms of going to Sirianni, let's find our identity, run the damn football, blah, blah, blah. And he said, look, everybody needs to be better. And he didn't call out just the line. He didn't call out just the weapons on the outside or his quarterback. He included specifically our coaches. And if you're going to include your coaches in that conversation, that tells me then that there's not some cohesiveness yet in terms of, to your point, the play that's being called and then an audible out or a check out. The defense is 1 step ahead of them, and they know it. Meaning the offense knows, the play we just checked out of, they're still in that, like they're onto it, right? So even from a coaching schematic, play design, he feels like even the coaches need to be better. Players know. Yeah. Like they know when they check into something whether they've got them or not.
Yeah.
And if your linemen are like, no, oh boy, this isn't going to work either, then that tells me there's some credence and some truth to the coaching aspect of it.
Andrew, can you mute Mike too?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I went too long.
So maybe, I laugh at you all the time because every week you say ridiculous, dumb things, and it's one of my joys in life to laugh at you. But maybe you were right about one thing, and maybe this is why it's all messed up. Maybe Patullo only knows how to run plays with a fullback. And now his fullback's injured. He doesn't have a fullback, and this is what his offense looks like without a fullback. Maybe his whole plan was centered around, I'm not being an asshole. I'm being actually serious. Like, what if because the things you said, I did hear them, but I just know how the Eagles run their offense. I'm like, bitch, we don't use it. But maybe he wanted to use it. Maybe he thought that was his wrinkle and change in the rough. And when your guy goes down, you're injured. They did have 1 or 2 plays where they substitute somebody in to play the fullback position. But I also feel like that's because Goddard wasn't there to block too. So I don't know. But maybe you were right. Maybe he had plans of grandeur of bringing back the fullback to Philadelphia. And now that he doesn't have that, he doesn't know what to do because he looks lost. You can unmute his mic now, Andrew. He's allowed to speak.
As much as I'd love to take that and hold that near and dear to my heart and okay, fine, maybe I was right on something. I think if that was truly the case, they would have gone out and made some roster moves, bring somebody in, because we're not going to, at the last minute, flip our entire offense without a full, right? So their design is their design. I think that there's certain plays they have to kind of cross out, scratch out, that maybe they were leaning on or thought would be part of their bread and butter. But that all aside, I appreciate that. That helps me sleep at night a little bit, just knowing that maybe once in a while,
Maybe.
I was on to something. Not all the time.
you might have
We don't
been.
want to exaggerate. Not all the time.
No.
Just once in a while.
No, that's why I muted your mic so I didn't hear you crying
I appreciate that.
from being happy.
I'll
about
do
something.
that now. I know how to cry.
So, who's gonna win the game on Sunday?
You just want to get right into it.
I do.
I think it's an uphill battle. I have for the last, 17 weeks, I want to say, gone birds. Dating back, we could take a look at the tape, and I felt confident and bullish about this team last year.
Yeah.
This is probably the first game in that stretch where I look at it and I say, I think it's going to be an uphill climb for reasons we mentioned earlier about that defense and Adoree Jackson having to stop their litany of weapons. They got a really good quarterback, and they've got really good weapons. And I just don't know that the Eagles have been moving the ball enough to kind of keep up with them. The Eagles have – if you look at the Rams are going to play good defense. They are. Better defense than what we saw out of Dallas and KC. That's the truth. If you just go by the numbers and opponents.
Yeah, their corners suck though, but yeah.
Fair, but it's
But
not
we're
like
not
we're throwing the ball all over the yard.
Yeah.
Right? So I look at it and I just say, and we'll give scores later, to kind of wrap this up. But I look at it and it's the first game where I'm going, uh-oh. I think this is going to be a tough matchup. And I will say, more than I gave credence to last week talking about the vengeance game with the Chiefs, I really feel like the Rams have a chip on their shoulder. I really feel like the Rams, I assimilate this game, not saying it ends that way, but I assimilate this game similar to how we treated the Niners when they came in with something to prove. I'm not saying they're going to expose the Eagles. I'm not saying that they're going to walk all over them. But the Niners came into our building with an attitude. The Niners came in here with something to prove based on the year prior, and they took it to us. We got a little fat and happy, and we thought nobody could beat us, and they took it to us. For whatever reason, there's a twinge of that feeling about this game on Sunday.
Andrew, who's winning on Sunday?
I think the Eagles are going to win. And because if this game was in LA, I'd feel a little more hesitant to say that. But the fact that it's here, I know they're coming in with the chip in the shoulder, the whole thing. They're losing to us in the playoffs. I just think being in our atmosphere, it's going to help us a lot. I'm not really scared of them. I think Stafford's going to throw 2 picks.
So I hear everything you're saying. I'm more in line with what you're saying, just for the simple fact that it's a home game. And if they're down by 3 points at any time, the Boo Birds are coming out. The crowd is not going to care that you won a Super Bowl. They're not going to care that you're 2-0. They're going to be on top of you. And I feel like that's extra motivation. I feel like the Rams coming here, the Rams get intimidated when they play the Eagles all the time. And Carter is in Stafford's head. You can see when he's in the pocket, he gets fidgety, his feet. He's jumping around. My favorite thing about the playoff game was, again, the way we talk about things in reality. Everyone in national media, everybody on the radio, well, if Carter didn't save the game, well, if A.J. Brown would have caught that touchdown in the first quarter in the corner instead of dropping the ball, I'd have been up 7, and Carter wouldn't have mattered. They would have been playing down by 3. Yeah. But I don't do ifs like that. I don't
because
say,
Carter did save the game.
Yes.
And Carter does play for Philadelphia.
Yes. So it's like, why are you making that the narrative? Like that, if you want to nitpick and say, well, Jalen got saved by. Yeah. Come on, man. That's the part of the game. It's like when Quinyon missed that interception. Then CeeDee Lamb went on to drop 3 passes. Mm-hmm. Well, CeeDee Lamb wouldn't even have the opportunity if he would have caught the ball. So I feel like this is a team that has been owned by the Eagles. They know that. The players know that, and the players can enforce their will on this team. And I fully expect them to play well at home because I really expect them to get dominated and embarrassed when they go to Tampa. And I know this team says week to week, day to day, you know what I mean? Like next day, one day at a time, da-da-da-da-da. You got to know that you're going down to Tampa and it's going to be 95 degrees and all you fat boys are going to cramp up AJ's got a bad hamstring. He never makes it through a game in Tampa, if he even makes it to the game. So you better win this game at home before you've got to go to Tampa. And I feel like they're looking ahead a little bit of that. And no matter what, even if it's going to be tush push 95 times down the field to win, they've got to win this game. So I feel like the chip is on their shoulder too, where it's like, I can't lose this game and then go to Tampa too.
Yeah, you're saying they're looking ahead, but in a way that puts this first game as a priority. They're not, because normally when we talk about looking ahead, that gets you in jeopardy. You can't be skipping an opponent and looking ahead to another one. I agree with you, and that's part of the reason why I'm a little cautious about this game in general, because I think this is just a really, really, when I saw it on the schedule, a really difficult 2-game clip for them, which is why it's even more important that they got the W against Kansas City last week.
And not to cut you off.
Yeah.
McVay busted his ACL.
No, his plantar fasciitis. He tore his plantar fasciitis.
He should make the trip.
I haven't heard that he would. I don't know why he wouldn't.
So, unless he's got to have like surgery or something like that, because I know you can't fly because they're worried about blood clots, stuff like that. But they put in one of those air casts, they can still get you up on the plane, and he can call from the booth.
If he needs surgery, he'll pause that until he gets back in the town.
Yeah, and I do remember him missing a game. Was it last season or the season before? He was sick or some family or something was going on, and one of his assistants had to call the game. But either way, their offense is their offense. The plays are their plays. Stafford's a senior quarterback, so they're not. I mean, not that you wouldn't like to have McVay there calling the plays and know what he does.
Right.
They're a well-oiled machine on offense, so I'm not going to take that as a grain of salt if he's not there, per se.
And they're again, they are. I like him offensively. I like him defensively too. They have a really, really nice defensive line, which we talk about it all the time in Philadelphia about the impact the defensive line can have on a football game.
Vice versa.
If the Eagles aren't, which they did twice against the Rams last year, if the Eagles aren't that established, physically dominant running football team, which they haven't yet shown us this year that they are, okay, well then you better be slinging the ball around the yard, which they haven't shown this year that they can do. So for me, it's just this game to me is just bad timing for them. Do I think they're a better football team than the Rams? I do. Do I think that the Rams have come out here earlier in the season, at least offensively and from little what we've seen defensively, and looked like the better football team? I do think that. The Eagles are still with a new offensive coordinator, trying to figure out who they are, trying to regain that run game, trying to figure out how they can, I guess, Patullo, whatever, trying to figure out how they can spread the ball around the yard because they haven't done it. And I just feel like this is a very dangerous game for them not to know who they are.
So before we give our scores, Andrew, do you have our Woo player sounder?
I do. It's right here.
Make yourself useful, Andrew, and give us our Woo sounder. Oh, yeah, back.
Don't know why that happened, but we're here.
we'll let it slide. It happens.
It never happened.
Again, the way that this works is you pick a player from a game, you describe that player, and why they're your Woo player. You only get to pick one person. You only get to pick one player. And since this person has gotten on my nerves all day since I got here early today, Andrew, pick your Woo player of the week from last week. Give me a player that you thought did an excellent job and tell me why. I'm putting Andrew on the spot. He didn't think he had to do this, but that's his problem for not knowing that I'm a jerk and a mean person.
Should I pick the easy one that make it hard for you guys?
Yeah,
or should I pick the hard
you
one?
Pick the one to make it hard for people. Making it hard for other people is the fun part.
Andrew Makuba is my player, my Woo player.
Woo! Player of the week.
Yeah. He was phenomenal.
Except
for getting trucked over by Patrick Mahomes. That one play, it's all right. But everything else, phenomenal.
Yeah. He was all over the field, too. Besides just that interception and being tired. He's around the ball. He has a nose for the ball. It's as cliche, as silly as that is to say. He has a nose for the ball. So that is a great player of the week.
Me?
Ashworth.
Me. Okay. Well, luckily for me, I was going to let the easy one go because Makuba did dominate. So it was a great pull by you. Right?
Thank you.
For me, and you mentioned this guy earlier, I say it time and time again. Football is 3 phases. There's offense, there's defense, there's special teams. And we saw it against the Kansas City Chiefs, what special teams does early when Buckner went wide right. no pun intended. We last year questioned Jake Elliott all season long. He's not good from, whether it was from 30, from 40, from 50. He had the kicking woes last year. So every single week we had to look at him and try to figure out what we were going to get. This season, thus far, 3 for 3, all from 50 plus, 5 for 5 on extra points made. He is back to, I don't know what he figured out. I don't know how he changed it. I don't know what that looks like and how he went from what we saw last year to now cool, calm, collected, and clutch. But I mean, even that 58-yarder, they moved him back 5 yards at a penalty. No difference, right?
Yep.
So we know how important special teams is. We know how important and how dangerous this team can be putting points on the board when you got a kicker as reliable as Jake Elliott. So for that, for him for Stella getting her groove back, I will say Jake Elliott is my player
of the week. Mr. Tripod himself. Also, we are such animals. We don't give grace. He was injured early in the season last year, and I know they kind of stopped reporting on it, but he wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. Something wasn't right.
He wasn't right. And, you know, they every once in a while, every like 3 games, they'd say, like, well, you know, he had that injury. And they're like, oh, he should be healed up right now. But, like, some injuries don't heal, and I feel like he needed the offseason to get right because he was missing bunnies.
Correct.
And that was like, that's not him. So
because that's up here. When you have an injury, you try to overcompensate. And where I'm saying is he got it corrected is sometimes those linger.
Yeah.
When you're overcompensating for an injury, even when you're healthy, mentally, now you're just off. And it's hard to reel that back in. But nonetheless, I'm glad he did.
So my Woo Player of the Week is not of the Philadelphia ilk. He is someone that has brought joy to 98% of Americans. He's someone who joins a small fraternity of players that have left the New York Giants and gone to another team and superseded everything that they ever dreamed to have accomplished for the New York Giants. My Woo Player of the Week is Daniel frickin' Jones. Daniel Jones, you are my Woo Player of the Week. My God, dude, you are slinging it. You've got an offensive coordinator that knows what they're doing, an offensive line that can block for you, a running game. They've had all these draft picks with all these wide receivers, and he hasn't had to punt one time. And if I was a New York Giant fan, I would be at the gates with pitchforks and torches looking for Shane Coe, whatever his name is. I want Dayball out. I want Mora. I'm about to secede the team from him. I'm about to do a succession and just be like, look, you can't even play in Jersey no more. Because that's one of the wildest things going on in football. You lose your running back, because I'm not going to say his name. I don't say one name. See that? You saw that. You lost your running back, and then you lose your quarterback, who they thought was the Great White Hope. They had I don't know, that box movie, the Great White Hope. Mm-hmm. He thought he was the man. And then he was trash. See, we can't even do nothing with Daniel Jones. So everybody else wanted him. The Vikings picked him up. Somebody else picked him up. And then he ends up there, and it's so bad for the Giants. I just love going through all my friends' Facebook and timeline. They just punching air right now. It is wild behavior. Can't believe it happened.
How sustainable? And I'm not telling you because he's 10 for 10 on drives, right? The Colts haven't had to punt yet. How much stock are you buying in Danny Dimes, the Indianapolis Colts, led by Shane Steichen?
If they go 8-8, 9-8, that's great. For them, they're the Colts. The Colts are in a bad division.
But the Colts are 2-0 now.
That's what.
So how far? But I know if he goes 8-8, great. Can Danny Dimes win the division
with this team? Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got so many weapons on offense. I went back and I watched the game, and I'm like, man, he's got time. That's why people get mad at Jalen Hurts, because he's got the most time of any quarterback, and he's throwing for the shortest yards. When you combine that with other quarterbacks, you're like, oh, bro, if you had this, but he's also not making the mistakes the other guys make. Geno Smith had time. He threw 3 picks.
He threw a pick on his first throw of the game last week.
I'm like, bro, what are you rushing for? Mm-hmm. But there's also a weird stat of Geno in a dome. Everything goes up for him. His wins go up by 30%. His pass rating goes up by 30%.
Is that right?
So in the dome, when they play the Chargers again, I guarantee you the Raiders win. That's a weird thing about Geno, just a side note.
All right.
But I think the Colts are legit. They're real because they're in a bad division and they've got an easy schedule. But they lose all the time.
Yeah.
So Daniel Jones could beat these teams where it's like, okay, we're playing defense.
So
you want to beat yourself? This guy over here picking Denver, they can't beat Daniel Jones.
There you go. Let me bring you in. They're
going to beat the Chargers.
It's all going to come full circle now. The reality is I might have just had the wrong team because I wasn't really buying in on the Texans. If you remember, I had I was calling the Titans to win the division. It's kind of like my bold.
For funsies.
For funsies, right? Maybe I just had the wrong team.
Wrong bad team, yeah.
Yeah, right? Maybe I did
team.
because the way the Colts are playing, and it's fun too because it's the story behind it, the team, a little parody. Yeah. I'm enjoying what's happening in Indy.
You got a score for the game, Andrew?
It's going to be 24. I'm going to say it. 24-17.
24-17, Birds.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Osworth,
Mm-hmm.
Ashworths,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Worths, Buttersworth. What's the score?
Like I said, I've rolled with the Eagles for weeks on weeks, but I got to be
have
honest.
a caveat.
I got to be honest.
We can pick against the Eagles
Yeah.
when so this isn't when people got on Elliott Shore Parks about that. Like, so there's certain times you can't pick against the Eagles when they're playing the Cowboys,
Sure,
or anybody in the division, or when it's another champion.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I got you.
otherwise, it's like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win every game unless you're
and that's
West Coast
right.
swoop. Like, I told people, they're not going to win. I just told you they're going to lose to Tampa Bay.
Next week, yeah. It's just one of those games for me. Now, win the game, and all right, hold on. Now that's a building block for me, and maybe I'm thinking, okay, hold on, this team really is that baddie again. I got the Rams 24-20 coming in getting a win.
Rams 24-20.
24-20. But I'm going under. I'm taking the under in the game. I think it's 44.5.
Oh, God. If the Eagles lose, I want them to lose like 24-6.
What? So it sends a message?
Oh, yeah.
Like a wake-up call?
I can't even have it be close if they lose. I need them to get like rocked so that like when we get out all our vitriol, there's a reason for it. That being said, oh, God, I feel like I'm on drugs. 34-27 Eagles. I think that the offense is going to erupt. I think that they just take a couple of deep shots to AJ and give him a chance one-on-one because their cornerbacks are garbage. And I feel like if you're going to show me that Saquon can bust out a 40-yard run, a 30-yard run, you need it this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to show me that you can block up because, again, it's not just the pass. That's why I'm putting on Patullo. They're not running the ball well either. So something's got to give. You got to get it together. Thanks for watching this week. Check us out, PHLY, cheapseats.com. But we're trying to get on the website at ALLCITY PHLY. We're trying to get there for you guys.
We will.
So you believe that we're legit and we're not just in here holding Andrew hostage.
Well, you're also doing that.
Well, that too. But thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Don't worry. E-Rock will be back next week and everything will be good. We're talking about that George W. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
We all silly like the mayor.